Hey everyone, I want to talk about something that I have been seeing on YouTube a lot lately. I was just looking at a bunch of videos and looking at comments of people. Lucid dreaming. Here's the thing about this. If you go look at the comments in any of these videos, how to lucid dream in 2 minutes, how to, in 5 seconds, here's how to have this awesome experience in your lucid dreaming. You can see from the comments, I mean, there's a lot of like 12 to 18-year-old kids who are commenting in these videos like, yeah, people just want a lucid dream to, basically have sex with their crush. That's not the term they use, but um, I want to talk about this because for a Christian, they ought to know more about what is going on in their dreams, what this represents. And I want to tell you, if you're having lucid dreams and if you have experienced like sleep paralysis, I have a real clear answer for what that is. I know what it is because I've experienced it. It's a demon. And a demon is an entity um, that hates God and hates you. And they can pretend to be friendly and they can, you know, do all. I mean, demons are involved in sexual fantasies, they're involved in all kinds of things, way more than you'd think. But they're pretending to be friendly because actually they really hate God and you were created in the image of God and they really hate you. And I've had sleep paralysis. In fact, it happened recently. A lot of demons were attacking me because I really try to serve Jesus with all my heart. And one night I went to sleep and I woke up over and over again that night. They were really pounding on me, and it was like in my dreams I was fighting stuff. They were attacking me, they were saying stuff. It was like a battle, and I was waking up every hour. And I'm praying, and I pray every single day. I mean, I pursue Jesus with all my heart. I used to be an atheist, and I'm just saying I'm a real serious Christian. And I wake up and I realize I'm paralyzed. And I look over on the nightstand right over there. I'm not going to show you, but it's right over there. And I see this little it looked like a little cat, and it was like orange and it was weird colors. It was weird colors, and they didn't even really look like colors you'd see in the world. I mean, I recognized it as orange, but it was very vivid and very spiritual looking. But I saw it. It was a real obvious creature, and it started to saunter towards me. And I realized while I'm awake in this like kind of dream state, even though I'm looking out at my room, that that's a demon and I'm seeing it. And I immediately was like angry at it because I do a lot of spiritual warfare, and I went to go fight it, and I said, in the name of Jesus, and I was like basically just trying to attack it in the spirit, like with the sword of the spirit, which you can do. And if you've never seen any of the videos on FOTM1, I recommend looking up the videos about demonology, about fighting demons and things like that. But as soon as I did, I watched that thing turn really tiny and run really far away. And demons do flee at the name of Jesus. Um, if you've been messed with, sleep paralysis, demons, stuff happening to you in your dreams, real bad nightmares, maybe it's time for you to go talk to God and get right with Jesus and ask Him to help and expect Him to, because He loves you and He's been waiting for you to come to Him. But if you're going to these lucid dreams and you just want to, have sex with that hot girl that you can't get with in real life, and yeah, there's real consequences because what you're imagining in your head, even while you're awake, what you imagine, that's actually happening in the spirit. It's real in the spirit, and Jesus said that. He said that anyone who even looks at another woman to lust after her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. And I could tell you the reality. I mean, I could tell you more of this. This is not me hypothesizing. Like, a lot of this stuff about the ideas of subconscious and dream interpretations and this modern stuff comes from like Carl Jung, Freud. There was a guy, I'm looking right here, Pierre Janet, who is the idea, who originated this whole idea of the subconscious. That is not an old idea. That comes from like around 1900 or so, this Pierre Janet guy. Um, all of that's baloney. And it's not an old idea, it's a fairly new idea. And it was them trying to understand things without God. The reality is that what people call their subconscious is either God talking to them, which is really what we would call a conscience. Like when you know you shouldn't do something and you do it anyway, that's your conscience. That's actually like God talking to you and saying, don't do that. That's not good. You know you shouldn't do that. Or there's demons talking to people. And the reality is, demons talk to people way more than they want to acknowledge or be aware of. And what they call, like, when someone says, I'm in a lucid dream, and my mind is like, let's think about that horror movie we watched last night. What they are saying, my mind, that's not their conscious choice, and it's not even them. It's a demon. It's a demon of fear that they were like playing around, playing footsies with last night, watching that horror movie, and kind of getting that thrill and enjoying that experience of watching a horror movie. But it played, they played footsies with it, and it played footsies with them. And then it's like, you know what? We're gonna keep playing this little game that I enjoyed because I like scaring you. And now you go to sleep and you're like, I'm gonna have a lucid dream, and it's like we're gonna have a lucid dream where you're afraid. Yeah, that's a demon, and it hates you. Um, and that feeling of like terror, I'm sure there are people watching this who will have had like lucid nightmares or had a dream where you were really terrified and you felt like you couldn't get out. Because I know I have. I had one before I was a believer while I was an atheist. And it absolutely terrified me. And I realized I'm in a dream, I'm in a nightmare, and I can't get out. And it terrified me, and I didn't know what it was. And I didn't run to Jesus for an explanation of that. It was for really other reasons. But it was like years later, after I'd been with the Lord a long time and learned a lot about the reality of spiritual things, the reality of demons, that I started to realize, hey, wait a minute. This stuff is demons. It's obvious when you just look at the fruit of it. If you look at what their goals are, they're demons. And they flee at the name of Jesus. Um, so this isn't a terribly focused video, but it's for people who like lucid dreaming and or have heard of it, or maybe your parents and your kids talk about it. Oh yeah, I was in a dream and I was doing this or whatever. um, I want you to be aware that spiritual stuff is real, and the things that people think when they're asleep, that's just as real as when they're thinking it when they're awake. And if you do something in your dream that you know you should not do, it's just the same as if you were standing there fantasizing about it while you were awake. Except that when you're lucid dreaming, there's this expectation of, there's faith in. And faith is very powerful, even for atheists. Atheists. A person can be an atheist and they can have a lot of faith. Just not in God, just not in Jesus, just in lots of other things. But there's this expectation while you're lucid dreaming that it's going to be vivid, that you're going to be able to see and experience and interact with things as if they were real, but yet be aware you're dreaming and basically just get away with fantasizing like you're in a virtual reality kind of experience or something. But better because you can touch stuff, feel stuff, smell stuff, whatever. Well, that expectation is called faith. Um, and people do. I read the testimony of someone who was talking about how if you really want a lucid dream, it was like he was telling his friends, if you really want a lucid dream, well, then what you should do is you should think about the lucid dreaming all day. And then at night, before you go to bed, don't watch TV or anything, meditate for an hour. And then, like, really believe, like, plan on having this lucid dream, and then it'll happen. He's basically describing you should worship that demon who is helping you have this experience all day long. You should focus on it and put your attention on it and think how great it's going to be and worship it and really spend and focus all your attention on it. And then for an hour before you go to sleep, you just meditate, which is something that, for instance, yoga will teach you to do. And it's trying to empower and worship that exact same spirit. In the Hindi cultures, it's called Kundalini. In the Bible, it's called Python. And also in the Old Testament, it's called Symphony in Hebrew, but cockatrice in like the King James. It has a lot of names, but it's one spirit and it's real. Um, and we know a lot about it. And if you've never heard of this and you are concerned or you're interested, I really recommend watching Doug's video of demonology about Python. Or Siphon. I think he calls it Siphon because that's the name that the Lord told him to call it. Pyphon. But if you look on this channel, FOTM1, under Demonology Siphon, you will find out a lot of true stuff about this demon and what it does and how it hides and what it likes to do. I wanted to keep this short. I pray God gets this to the right people. Anyone who doesn't know Jesus, if you will proclaim with your lips Jesus as Lord and believe in your heart God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. And the one who remains firm, who remains steadfast until the end, shall be saved. And I just pray you seek him and know him and read the Gospels and see what Jesus really did say. Because he's real, and he's talked to me, and he's talked to lots of people. And it's probably not what you think. Anyway, God bless you all. Bye.